Well, the boys around here don't listen to the Beatles run. Old Bo Cephas threw a jukebox needle at the honky-tonk where they boot stomp all night. What? Yeah, and what they call work a digging in the dirt. Gotta get it in the ground before the rain come down to get paid, to get your girl in your four-wheel drive. Yeah, the boys round here drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot a back, shoot a back, shoot a back, a spit. Oh, heck. Well, the boys around here, they're keeping it country. Ain't a damn one know how to do the Dougie. No, I'm not in Kentucky, but these girls around here, yep, they still love me. Yeah, the girls around here, they all deserve a whistle. Shaking that sugar sweet as Dixie Crystal. They like that yawling southern drawl and just can't help it 'cause they just keep falling for the boys around here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back, spit.
Let's ride through the countryside. Let's ride down to the riverside.
Hey now, girl, hop inside. Me and you gonna take a little ride to the river. Let's ride. That's right. Lay a blanket on the ground. Kissing in the crickets is the only sound. We out of town. Have you ever got down with a do you wanna get down with a girl, you gotta get down with the boys round here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here, sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back. I'm one of them boys round here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here, sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back, spit.
How. Oh, sorry, wrong song. Oh, who would that be? Oh, yeah, ZZ Top. Welcome to the WINGIT call. Today is June 20th, 2016. Who'd have thought we'd be here? Who'd have thunk we'd be here? But here we are. Please take a knee. Dear Lord, protect us and guide us today. Give us your wisdom to understand what's going on. Maybe give us just a little peek to help our souls, for we all belong to you. We ask that you hear this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Okay. Wingman's here. Life is good. We'll go with Art first and then on to the good stuff. Come on down, Art.
They better do your normal stuff. You're being recorded.
Yeah, recording's on. Sorry, thank you about that. Disclaimer, we're not attorneys. We're not financial advisors or CPAs. We're not giving legal advice. This is not to be taken as legal advice. And for the rest of the disclaimer, please go to the wingitcall.com, and there's a tab that says disclaimer. Thank you, Art. Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, Jerry. Good afternoon, everybody out there in Dinar land. Like you say, who'd have thunk we'd have still been here. Not much out there today. I can tell you it's very quiet. All intel sources have seemed to shut up. And I guess that's maybe for a good reason. A lot of stuff was supposed to happen, did happen over the weekend, meetings of all kind in Reno and just all kind of things supposed to happen, good things supposed to be there today and yesterday and as usual. But we still sit here, we're still waiting, and really got nothing to offer as far as intel. Like I say, all sources have dried up. I've talked to many people today, and they said everybody just shut up. Everybody just went quiet. So that must be for a reason. So maybe just on an anytime, any minute basis. And so just hang in there, everybody. That's all I can say. That's about it for today.
Thank you, Art. Drier than a desert wind with no rain for the last 20 years. That's about how it is. So Iko and I had a discussion, and we want to approach it today. We're not, and I know everybody's going to panic when I say this, but not to panic. We're ripping the bandage off, but in a way that will just shed light in a true, what's the word I'm looking for? In a true way. There's no bashing. We're just like, what was the name of that show that had Joe Friday on it? Just the Facts, ma'am. Just the facts. That's what we're bringing today. Just the facts. So again, we were told it was supposed to go. It didn't happen. Not a problem. And there was an email. Let me go back here. I want to read this. It's out of order. But I wanted to start with this one. It says, "Hi, Jerry. I'm sure you have probably gotten 1,000 emails as this one, and for that I'm sorry, but could you tell us where we are in the middle of this whole thing?" Oh, yeah, Dragnet, thank you. Where we are in this whole thing. Please, where are all of those benevolent people that are running this? People are dying, losing their home and possessions, being put out on the street, and the answer is staring right at us in the face. And we are told it's a geopolitical game put on by those a-holes. They are running this. Back dates, front dates, and everything in between have come and gone. What the hell is going on? And I'm reading this verbatim, so don't throw me underneath the bus. Do the TPBs and the AOPs have no compassion left for us? The humanitarian projects they want us to do are planned, but they are still holding this back. They have had 12 years to plan this and get this right. What else needs to be done? Is all the intel we have received BS, or is there any truth to it all? I, for one, am tired of being lied to on a daily basis. This isn't about mansions or yachts. This is about the powers that be doing what they said they would and honoring their word. A concept I fear they know nothing about. Can you shed any light on this? Because we were told to keep the faith, but explain to me how we are supposed to do that. This needs to be done now, not when those, I can say that, butt heads want to do it when it's right for them. We have all been patient, but we are at the end of our rope. I will look forward to your call. So here is the truth. We were never supposed to be in this. That's exactly true. They do not care a flying flip about the sheeple. This is a battle between good and evil, and the battle is between power and money. Power and money. They have the power and money, and they don't want to give it up. Simple as that. We're boiling it down to basic redneck because it applies, but you're just looking at it. You're on a bigger scale. geopolitical, whatever you want to call it. But it's my money, and I'm keeping it, and I'm going to tell you what to do, and you're not going to change what I've done for the last 350, 400 years. Even though we said that we would, I like the taste of that power. And I like telling people what to do. And I like to do when I do it, how I do it, and when I want to do it. All about the power. And with the knowledge that they have gained and the people they have placed in certain positions all over the entire world, it's hard for them to give it up. Nothing, and I've said this before, nothing stays the same forever. Look at Rome. Look at World War I, World War II. Go back and just Google how many different currencies have been at the forefront over the years. The British pound was at one time. George Soros saw to that and then brought it crashing down. Yeah. And then the dollar rose up, through the Federal Reserve. And that's a heck of a racket. Central banks are a racket. Why do you need a central bank in your country where you're authorizing a big bank, to have the power over you to determine financial monetary reform? It doesn't make sense, but they put themselves in that position. All but just a few, handful of countries in the world do not have central banks run by the cabal or some other people. Not good for us, but we hear that we have benevolent people, and I can only hope that this is true. That's what keeps us going, is hopes and dreams. That's what I'm here for. I have hopes and dreams like everybody else. I started a call to help people out, and look where it has taken all of us. I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, and I hope that I've helped other people grow a lot. So let's see, I was going somewhere with this. Wingman, are you there? Let me get back to that screen. If you can, just chime in when you can. Oh, there you are. Wingman?
Hold on. Okay, I'm on. I got turned on to a fascinating video this morning. After the call, I'll send it to Life is Art. It's a YouTube video. It's by, oh God, I'm going to forget his name now. He's one of the regular internet bloggers, financial guy, not crazy, pretty mainstream. But he touched on every single thing we've been talking about for the past 3 years concerning markets and related issues, geopolitical, etc. He touched on every one. It was like a tutorial for denarius. And you have to give me a minute here. I gotta mute out, take care of business here. But I'll be back in about 10 minutes. And I'll illuminate on some of this stuff. Sorry.
Uh-oh. Okay, so while he's taking a break there for a second. Uh-oh, what was that? All right. Get back to the proper screen. There we go. One of the things I was going to touch on is the brick exit. The markets right now are all up because everybody is scared. They're buying stock in whatever form around the world and positioning themselves that if the BRICS exit does happen, come Friday, they're going to cash in and make a lot of money if Britain votes to kick the EU out. It will be a great thing for us if they did. But in talking with ICO, or with my wingman, we're thinking that Wednesday might be a good day to roll out this blessed event that we're waiting on, because people with money don't care what happens, because they think they can ride out what's going to happen. Uh-oh. Whatever. They can ride it out. I'd like to see him leave, because it would free those people, under the oppression they've been underneath for a lot longer than us. All roads lead back to the Vatican. Okay, I will. I'd say, and this is just my opinion, 400 or 500, even could have been farther back than that. The Vatican, I believe, funded. This is just my opinion. This is politics now, and an area that I don't like too well. I don't make a good politician, because I can't kiss the babies, because I'll steal their lollipops and not have a smile on my face. You understand. I think that the Vatican funded the Rothschilds and several other families way back when, and in return, deals were struck and money goes back to them. They started out in the Bank of England, then over here, we know that how that one vote back in 1913 put us back underneath the control of the Crown, and are you back, Wingman?
Yeah, I am.
All right. I was just giving a little story here about where we're at and what's going on. Anyway, you want to throw in a tidbit there?
Yeah, I want to get back to this video, because it did such a fantastic job of summing up exactly where we are, and coming up with some conclusions. And I strongly recommend that everybody go and get this. I'm not going to give it out over the air, because it's one of those long YouTube streams that we'll never get it right. We'll spend half an hour trying to get it right. So it'll be posted after the call. But essentially, what these mainstream financial analysts are saying is that we have reached the point of no return on the global reset. That is the only thing that can fix what the last 100 years of the combination of fiat management and colonial, backroom colonialism, the economic hitmen and all of that everything that we've heard tell us over the past few years, that has all come to a head, and there is nowhere left to go. And the elite are in a panic, because their system of creating bubbles and creating false economic scenarios and then profiting off them, they've run out of material. Literally, they've run out of material. There is nothing to prop up any of their schemes. The dollar is practically worthless, and that was the currency of choice. We now have the Saudis publicly declaring they'll take anything they darn well please for their oil. The petrodollar is dead. That was what was running the show the last 50 years. Before that, we were basically making sure there was some kind of world war happening to finance the profit machine that way. I'm skipping around a little bit. What's nice about this video is they really they they highlight each point in why this has occurred, and then they start to draw some conclusions on what can fix it and what cannot fix it. Their conclusion, the bond market is in a total shambles. It's just everybody's afraid to pull out the corner card and let it come down. However, they also say Deutsche Bank is hopelessly bankrupt. Germany will go bankrupt when Deutsche Bank declares their bankruptcy. Britain will vote to leave the union. However, they may not actually do it because once they vote to leave it,
hey, Iko.
Yeah.
Iko, they say that you're muffled. Can you clear it up a little bit?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me try to talk directly into my phone because I'm in the car. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, everybody. I hope that's better.
Oh yeah, way better.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the Nissan
Can
phone
you back up and start over?
For. Yeah, I guess I can. So anyway, there's a video out. We're going to give the address to it after the call because it's too long to try to do over the call. But basically, what it does is mainstream financial folks, not conspiracy theorists, not folks with wild ideas. These are straight-laced financial guys that have been around forever. Basically got on a call together, on a conference call, and outlined where they believe the world markets are at. And what they believe is that what we have done, because we all found out that creating bubbles made people a lot of money. The people who created the bubble, they could short the bubble and then make a lot of money. And what we now have is we have a global bubble that is about to collapse. And it's going to make all the other bubbles look like regional bubbles. And they go into it in depth. I'm not going to go into it in depth here. But they talk about things like the only thing that can solve this is a global currency reset. But they don't talk about the GCR the way we talk about it, as if it's this ultimate goal event. They talk about it as if this is the only thing that could fix it, almost like they're not sure if anybody has considered it yet. They're a little behind the curve on that. They don't talk about an RV as a general event, but they do talk about revaluing currency as the only fix for certain countries.
Hey, Iko, is
yeah.
that the Jim Sinclair?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think the title of it is the Global Bubble, but we'll give a direct path to it so that people don't mistake, because there's a lot of his videos out there. But he brings on some other world experts, and they all talk about the fact that nobody wants to call it. They're all afraid to call it, so you're certainly not going to get it off of Fox News or CNN. What fascinated me about the whole thing was it was exactly what we've all been talking about the past couple of years, every single thing. And if you remember way back when, even though Tony had a lot of disinformation in his program, he also had a lot of good information. And sooner or later, anything that DC said, when he said this is happening or this will happen, it sure enough happened. And that's what's all over this video. Everything that we've talked about that has to happen in order for the RV to occur has happened, and they've got what I would call mainstream proof. It's not my friend in the U.S. Treasury said. It's the U.S. Treasury said this. The Fed said that. Germany just came out with a 0% interest bond, and they said, how can you possibly ask people to buy a bond where they're not going to make any money, and chances are they're going to lose money? He said, that's insanity. And yet, here we are, a major G20 nation issuing a 0% bond, or a bund, as they like to say. It's just, really, I just encourage everybody to take a look at this. And you know what else? it's said in such a way, very plain and very understandable. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand what these guys are talking about. Now, they are all using they're using words like imminent, like very soon, like now. Those are the kind of terms they're using in this video when they talk about timeline. And we've got other experts in our community who are even, pushing that a little further and saying, tomorrow, tonight, no later than Wednesday, because the Brexit meeting will trip is basically the toe popper that's going to blow up every other mine in the field. There is a domino effect that will occur. Everybody, it seems, in the financial analyst world believes also that it will simply be it'll be a global bubble disaster, and it will make all these other bubbles, even the one of 2008, look small in comparison, because it's going to be on every continent. It's going to affect every country. So I guess I'll stop there for the moment and collect my thoughts. Take it, Jerry.
Okay. Something I should have said at the front of the call and I didn't. Brain fart, sorry. There's a trust call tomorrow, normal time, 3:30 Eastern, 1 hour only. We're having a trust call tomorrow, 1 hour only, regular time, 3:30 Eastern, to clear up a few more things. And Richard might have a guest with him. I don't know. Anyway, second thing.
Another thing that comes to mind. When I was watching this video, I started to get a little concerned about the size of the bubble. And I just want to reassure everybody on the call that, to repeat, they said that a global reset is the only thing that will fix it, okay? So to us, that means the earth, okay? We will be fine. But it's also like, when you have a pending plane disaster, what they say is put your oxygen mask on first, then help your neighbor or help the child next to you, whatever. This is going to be the same thing for all of us, because people are going to panic. They're going to see their 401ks disappear. We need to reassure them that they just need to sit tight. The money will come back. They all talk about the asset economy. Again, that's the only cure for this, that we can no longer print money to bail ourselves out of problems. So it's going to be okay, even for folks who are not invested in these currencies. It's going to take a little time. There will be hyperinflation, no matter what. Even if they fixed it the following day, the ripple effect to all industries and all economies is going to be substantial. But all the things that we've heard, that we've been advised about, that we've mentioned on this call, that over time it will reach parity, it will right itself, and the money that everyone feels they will have lost will actually be worth 3 or 4 times what it's worth now. So in the end, it's a good thing. How well the financial establishment and governments are going to be able to communicate that in the midst of a panic is going to be kind of interesting. But that's something else that they touch on in this video. I can't stress it enough. When you view this thing in its entirety, I think it's about an hour long, you're going to feel much better about where we are, and also reassured that this is imminent. There's folks calling it for tonight. That wouldn't surprise me. I'm not endorsing that, but I'm just saying that between now and Wednesday night, it's pretty hot out there. Nobody wants the Brexit vote to succeed. Nobody wants the European Union to implode. But many of the people talking about it don't know that this RV is sitting there at the end of a button. And my estimation is that's all it is now. That's all it is a timing issue. I think all those steps that we constantly hear about that need to be completed, I think they are completed. And it's just a matter of timing. Things like them getting ready with the black Visa cards at the exchange centers. That the rates are up and down now on the exchange center screens. And yes, guys, there are exchange centers. Don't fall into that one. They're all setting up for this. We got word over on Sunday that Wells Fargo and Chase had given the green light, but of course that was probably wishful thinking, seeing as none of us are at the bank this afternoon. But the situation is getting very tight and being finalized. It's looking pretty good. So that was another piece that came to me while listening to this video.
Okay, here's another one. This is probably not going to set well with a lot of people. It's probably going to ruffle a few feathers. But before you throw me underneath the bus and turn the call off, at least listen to everything I have to say and then make your own decision. So Iraq was part of this. Now it's bigger than that, and Iraq is a theatrical play now. They're not controlling this. If they could have RV'd months ago, they would have, but they have not been told it's time to push the button. Otherwise, they would have done it. Iraq is not in control of anything except the play. Everybody, I'm going to mute you for a second, Iko.
Fine.
Iraq's not in charge. It is not about them. It's part of the situation, but they're not in charge. Who does that make sense to? Just one country be in charge of the total GCR. They're just a small little cog in it, but they want us focused on that to take us away from the bigger play that's going on. Another thing, and you can find it out there. I'm not bringing the links in because the information is so far back. That being said, it's only 6 months ago. But if you remember when Greece was in trouble and they couldn't make their bond payments, and the IMF, all of a sudden, Greece could make their bond payment. You know, where did the money come from? Well, now there's no way that Greece can make this next bond payment short of an RV because they have dinar in their coffers. But the people in charge are smart enough to know that that's what the world wants, and they want out from underneath the thumb of the EU and the IMF. A couple calls ago, I challenged somebody to find any country the IMF has been into that they've actually prospered and grown. 100% of the time, they're underneath the thumb of a loan shark, making it even worse. And this is what happened to Greece. And, you know, of course, they had what they had. They thought what they had was free money, and they went crazy with it. And, you know, no country, they're not without some responsibility in the pickle that they're in. But what I'm getting to is when they first had trouble, Russia said, hey, if you want to go back to the drachma, we will back you with a gold asset bond. Aha. It's out there. And if Greece goes to a gold asset-backed bond and back to the drachma, they leave the euro. That's going to bring some pain throughout the Eurozone. Spain is on the verge, Italy, France, and of course Germany now. It's becoming known more and more. It's not looking good for the Eurozone, but you got to understand that was a George Soros, probably Bilderberg plan, and it's got everybody's money all tied up, the whole situation, loaning people money here and there. Since when? I consider the Eurozone like family, loaning money to family. Where's that going to get you? So if you think about it that way, is each country being a family member? Well, I don't have to pay you back. You're my brother. Or you're my uncle. You know, uncles are going to be mad, but hey, I just don't have the money right now, so what are we going to do? I hope my redneck analogies are working. I mean, I know that it's more complicated than that, but we're back down to power and money. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to unmute my wingman here. We had a couple questions. I'm going to, and wingman, I'll handle these. Would ICO be kind enough to give us his latest info and updates? We would greatly appreciate it. You got that. Are the IQ cards still being distributed to Iraqis? Don't know. Oh, that was question
Really
2.
very good point.
No. Question 3. Thought it was inferred in the last call that the SIPs and SWIFT system may be having difficulties functioning together. Are they both working together now? I believe so and working well. Question 4. In your opinion, are Ink Master and Black IP trustworthy intel providers? I think that they do a better job than some, not as well as others, but what the hey? And no, I'm not throwing them underneath the bus because everybody has their own little piece of it that's different than somebody else's. So, yes, I've talked with both of them, and they both have intel from different people, and it's worthy. You know what? They're probably right up there at the top with everybody else. I misspoke there. Everybody has their own. They're not calling it, daily. They're just bringing what they have. Okay. Question 5. At this pending exchange, if we are willing to accept the international rate, can we still exchange in this private exchange? As far as I know, we won't know the rules of exchange, or as I like to call it, the rules of engagement, until we get there, because they're keeping the rules under wraps until we get there. They're not going to let out exactly what's going on before we get there. Could lead to some issues. What they are, I don't know. It's kind of like telling the enemy your battle plan beforehand. We're not going to do that either. Number 6, I really appreciate the extra tweets just to encourage us, even the silly ones. Thanks. You're so welcome. And this was number 7. If the BRICS exit vote is to remain in the EU, where does that leave us? I realize it doesn't fix the bond market or rescue Japan. It's actually working in our favor, and we've talked about that. What are down-to-earth currency rates we can count on? We went across that. Budget for low. Those rates have been talked to death out there. I'm not going to go into that today. They've been talked to death, so budget low. Anything above that is Christmas every day for the rest of your life. Do you have, question 9, do we have any idea what we are waiting for to bring this blessing finally to help humanity? Just discussed that. Number 10, my question for you today is, if you deal with anxiety and get nervous at important moments like the exchange, stage fright, you might say, how would you deal with it when at the bank? Many different ways. Drinking would not be one of them. Let's not go there, even though a blue moon might work well, but take somebody with you that helps bring calmness to you. Each situation's different, so whatever helps calm you and bring clarity, do that. Let's see. The fear that I have is going into exchange and doing something wrong or saying the wrong thing. Then do like I did. I got the old recipe cards, the 3x5 blank white cards, and I taped one on either side of my bank bags. In big Sharpie letters, I wrote, "Hi, I am here to exchange my currency," and taped them to the bag. That way, when I put them down there, there's no mistaking what I am there to do, and I won't misspeak. That's what you're referring to. I have a business plan in place so that I will try to partner with the banks and have my money make money before I spend any principal. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to help us all. Thank you for your question. That's what I did. Taped a card on either side. I also have printed out, questions that I can ask the bank after I get in there. And for some reason, I keep having to update my questions when I think about other things. Any ideas as to what are the next windows of RV opportunities down the rocky road we are on? If by chance this is delayed again and again, we've addressed that. They are saying that only groups will get paid. Now, who does that make sense to? I know that we on the internet could be included, but does that mean people I gave gifts to, not on the internet, will not get at least an international rate? Oh, everybody's going to get an international rate. It's just, can you get a better rate? Nobody's going to be left out. That was question 12. Question 13. Iran, Turkey, Russia, China, all opening offices on Iran's new offshore exchange site. I don't see them waiting much longer on Iraq. The Boeing deal for Iraq and Iran and Britain just released the investment money so they can invest in Iraq. This is all good. It is all good. It's power and money. Not to get off another tangent, but the Bilderberg Group is not our friends. It's a group of money-grubbing, power-hungry people trying to figure out how to manipulate us to get them to do, or get us to do what they want. And I guess maybe I'll briefly touch on this, and it's something to think about. Vaccines. Are they really our friend? The stuff that they put in them is not good. Then we've got Monsanto with all the GMOs. Did you know that our sitting Congress, was it 1 or 2 years ago, actually voted that if Monsanto was found guilty of killing people, this is my interpretation. I'm sure it's worded much or better than what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied today. Monsanto has been given a pass by our Congress. They can't be sued or held liable for anything that they do. Now, there's more to it than that, but that's just the redneck version. How's that make you feel? Yeah. I'm covering a lot of ground here, but it gives you things to think about. That was number 13. Let's go on to number 14. We have heard many, many times that everything is done. However, when the projected window is closed, there is a mention of another item that needed to be fulfilled, like Iraq coming back online or Vietnam increasing their rate, something like that. So what say you about what still needs to be done, Wingman or Jerry? Well, I think this call is covering that question quite well. Power and money. I've said before, if you've only got $100 in your pocket and the people out there are trying to take your last $100 and you can't, there's no way for you to get any more money or print any more money, are you going to start scrapping? Yeah. If you're losing your power over people, because that's what it is. I'm going to say maybe 1,000 people, could be 5,000 people in this world are determining who's a slave and who isn't, who gets benefits and who doesn't, how to control the world. And I believe I discussed the Georgia Guidestones. They're trying to enact that right now. And according to the Georgia Guidestones that they installed, which is in Georgia, the state of Georgia, it says that this world only needs less than 1 billion people, like 500 million. Absolutely. That's what it says. You're going, really? Yeah. Why are they doing that? Because the certs, according to them, are too numerous and we're getting out of control because of the internet. We're learning. We're rising up, which actually started back in the 1800s. A banker said they're starting to wake up and we've got to quash this now. Question 15. We are hearing that if you're in a group, you will be able to exchange before the RB public and that the rates will drop when it goes on Forex and becomes public. I know we like to consider ourselves as a group because TNT Tony told us that we were. We have learned that we have been fed a lot of misinformation over the years. Yes, we have, and we still are. And matter of fact, it's getting worse. You know, the waters are so muddy right now that even if you put your hand in the water just down an inch, you wouldn't be able to see your hand. That's how muddy the waters are getting. My question is, do you or any of your contacts have any form, anyone outside of these blog sites stating that we are indeed a legitimate group? Is there any way to verify this? The first and only group that I know is legitimate is the General 64 group. That was the very first group that came out. Anything after that is, I think, a secondary group, and even then, that's been blown out of proportion well. So, enough rattling for me. Wingman, you got anything?
Yeah, I would say on that question that one of the I've mentioned it before. We have a source in an exchange center for one of the banks. This is somebody that one of our Intel people has known since they worked together. So it's a legitimate person. It's an employee. And so far, all of that information has been spot on. And she says there are going to be 800 numbers, first of all, and that we are considered meaning the Internet group, as a group. Now, she has never mentioned any other group other than the Internet group. I guess because the way it's been explained to her is this Internet group is going to get an 800 number, and those people are going to get processed first, and then it's going to eventually get opened to the quote unquote general public. And as for Forex, I followed Forex religiously for almost 3 years, and really figured out how they operate. And they're simply, they're a fixed horse race. They're a fixed card game. It's a club, It's only meant for the club to make money, and I personally will discount Forex from here on out. I don't care what they say. They're not to be trusted. We've graduated to more trusted intel sources. And once we are at the banks and have the RV, the bank is probably going to be your most trusted source. And we'll be able to shop the sources. So stay away from Forex. Don't even bother with them. And certainly don't bother with the secondary platforms on the internet. Because they don't know what they're talking about. They're just shooting in the dark like everybody else.
All right. Well, I know that we've been really rattling our gums here. Let's just take a couple callers and we'll see how that goes. So we're going to Columbus, Mississippi, 662. Come on down. Columbus, Mississippi. Yes, sir, ma'am. Hello, Columbus, Mississippi, 662. Come on down. Hello. Okay. There you go. We can hear you. Yep.
Can you hear me too? Hold on.
Yep. They're out here. North Bend, I guess it's Washington, 425. Come on down.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Ma'am,
My
how are you
question
doing
is,
today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. My question is, after the RV, I believe you mentioned something about legally moving your money offshore after the RV, and finding an international type attorney to do that. Is that going to be a big deal, or do you think there might be a time limit that would prevent us, if we don't get right on it? And part of my question also is, I had planned on investing or turning a very large amount of money into the Chinese yuan, the real, maybe the Swiss franc, and the Australian dollar to protect my money, so that I know that the dollar is going to go down, and I'm thinking and hearing that it could go down quite a bit, and I could lose as much as half of what I have. What are your thoughts on that?
Well said. I can't say it any better. Thank you.
I don't think he answered her question, Jeff.
Oh, well, she asked a question, but within that question was a good statement about what I'm going to do.
Yes.
Also, I wouldn't dally too long about finding ways to move your money offshore. I'm sure the banks, Wells Fargo is in bed with HSBC, or HSBC owns or has a pretty good portion. I think that's going to be a hand-in-hand situation, but I would find a way. And with the money you have, you're going to be able to find firms that can help.
One of the things that I was thinking about doing, because I know that HSBC has branches in Singapore, and I wonder if it would be too convoluted to open an account here in the U.S. and putting money in HSBC, and then apparently without having to fly to Singapore, you can open an account over there, and then I could do a bank-to-bank transfer. Have you all heard of anything like that?
Well, I am glad that you asked that question.
How many seats you get left on the jet, Jerry?
Say what?
How many seats you get left on the jet? Maybe we got to go to a 737 or something. Forget this Gulfstream nonsense.
Yeah. You will eventually have to go to Singapore and fly over there, but if you've got the cash, charter a private jet. Because I think I was told and this is not a quote, and this is not advice. This is what I heard. I don't know it to be fact, so here we go. That you can do that, but you can only put so much in it and transfer over there before they actually want to see you and your smiling face to say, "Hi, ma'am, how are you doing? Thank you for doing business, but our rules say or dictate that, any larger amounts, you have to be here."
Yeah.
What a way to travel.
That's what I heard too.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope I answered your questions.
Well, unless you know of, I suppose that if I find a really good, and I'm sure I will, an international attorney, that they also can advise of other places. The Bible says put your money in 7 or 8 places because you know not what will happen in the world.
That list that you reeled off, that list is about 6 months old. And there are other currencies now, like the Indian rupee, like the Mexican peso. There are other more favorable currencies to park your money in.
Really?
On
tape.
Even the ruble is a good one because they're gold back too.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the Swiss?
I'd lose Australia and Switzerland off that list.
Okay.
That's just my personal opinion.
And then the yuan and the Iranian.
The yuan, the yuan may be taken away by the Chinese. Maybe. That's one of those things we're hearing right now. I don't know if it's rumor or if it's the truth. There's bona fide opinion on both sides that they don't want any more U.S. dollars.
Well, the fiat anyway. The fiat dollar.
Fiat dollars, right. It's going to take us a while to become truly asset backed. So
we are in essence then going to be trading into the fiat dollar rather than a gold-backed currency, correct?
That's my opinion.
Yeah, but once again, we won't know till we get there. If they're handing us out that monopoly money that's new, that's asset-backed currency. And right then and there, you can say, okay, is my money asset-backed? And if they say yes, say, great, I want to, if not today at this appointment, but tomorrow, I need to speak to a wealth manager and I want to put some of my money in these currencies.
And so to cloak that, you would say look for a currency that would be gold-backed.
Correct.
That
the U.S., our dollar has to be gold-backed if you want to go into the yuan.
Okay. Iceland, the Netherlands, things like, are those going to be gold-backed?
Everybody's going to be gold-backed when this goes down. Just some countries are better suited to protect your money.
That's not a true statement, Jerry. It's not a true statement.
Okay. Straighten
a lot of countries, so far, 180 of the WTO nations have pledged to go asset-backed when China declares they are fully asset-backed. That leaves out a lot of the G20 folks, so like the Eurozone, U.S. What we'll call the Western Bank.
Will the bank freely and comfortably allow me to ask questions like that? Because I know if I'm going to switch it, then I would put it in multiple currency account, and they'd be
and they can handle that for you. You got remember these big banks. It's not just one bank. It's called whatever. It's called Wells Fargo, and it's called Bank of America, and it's called Chase, etc. But they are actually many different organizations, companies that comprise a group that goes by the umbrella name of the bank. But I guarantee you, within Wells Fargo, since we're always talking about Wells Fargo because we're always considering them here, Wells Fargo has figured out a way to accommodate all of these requests that we discuss on these calls on 2 or 3 times a week. They're not stupid. They know what's coming. They know the questions they're going to get asked, and they've got answers for them, and they've got programs set up to account for them. Just remember, one of the things you're going to have to consider is if you're in any kind of contract situation with the bank. It's been called a lot of things. It's been called sovereign rates. It's been called humanitarian rate. It's called contract rate. Anything above that international rate, where you are in agreement with the bank because they're giving you more than the international rate, then you got to start looking at the fine print, because the fine print may say, you can have a multi-currency account as long as it's managed by Wells Fargo, for example. You're not going to be able to just pull your money out of the bank.
Anything over whatever my base would be.
That's how I'm thinking about it, so I can at least come up with a basic plan. But again, we're not going to know until we get in those exchange meetings. And anything we want to know about those exchange meetings are going to be covered under that NDA. So you've got to remember that your best dinar buddy, when they sign that NDA, that's it. Their mouths are shut. You're not going to learn the thing you want to learn until you're actually sitting in an exchange meeting. So, which is another reason to possibly take another smart person with you, so that you guys can at least, 2 heads are better than one. It's your money, but there's nothing wrong with looking over and if they're looking at you like we have to get out of here, you can take their advice.
If you'll allow me one more question. The other thing I was planning on doing was going into the bank, or however the best and safest way to do it would be to pull out as much cash as I could that I could work from a cash base in case something sideways went on, and I could help my family a bunch of cash money if they're going to allow me to have that.
Well,
you're kind of muffled there,
Iko. Report it to the IRS.
Iko, you're muffled.
I'm muffled? Hold on.
You're muffled.
Let me, probably because I found my headset, but it's been sitting for a day and it probably has no power. Hold on. You're talking about a lot of cash.
The bank probably won't let you do that.
Yeah.
And besides, you don't want a lot of cash anyway. I understand, but there's other things that if it goes sideways like that will, and that's a whole nother topic that we're not going to get into right now. All right, ma'am. Hopefully that
answering my questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's not said right, but I'll pronounce it anyway. Paris, California, 951. Come on down.
Yes, good afternoon to the room. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Just a couple of things that I wanted to point out. Anyone that's familiar with the Bible knows that Satan knows for sure that his demise is imminent, and yet that has never stopped him from doing all the wickedness, and it hasn't slowed him down. He has no remorse, and he knows that God cannot lie, that he will be destroyed. And we have to take that and realize that the cabal, the so-called people that are in power, are serving him, worshiping him, and they are going to do likewise. They know that they will be destroyed, that they have nowhere to go. Yet and still, we have to understand they're not going to give up their power. If they agree to let funds be released or to cooperate, it's because they have already devised some kind of way to infiltrate the new system. They have their hand in the pot already. Like you said, if they have their last $100, they're not going to go without a fight. And I don't see them giving up their fight. It's all about greed. It's all about power. That's all they've ever wanted. The next thing that I wanted to bring out is we also have to understand that it's been mentioned that the RV has occurred. Even if that is the case, or if we're still waiting for it to roll out, everyone needs to understand there's an order in which everyone will be paid. From my understanding, the sovereign nations will be paid first, and then diplomats, and then, the military, and then whales, and then so forth and so forth until they get down to us, the peons. So what we need to be concentrating and trying to verify is where the payments are actually being released, who has actually been paid, because this nonsense of looking for the 800 numbers every minute is basically, it's driving us crazy. So I think what we need to be focusing on is verifying who, in fact, is being paid. Where in the system are we? And that'll give us a little peace of mind. And those were my thoughts.
Thank you, ma'am. Good thoughts. Okay. Uh-oh, what happened? I lost my person. That's okay. We're going to wrap it up anyway. So hopefully, there you are.
Yeah, I'm back. Okay. Somehow I got bumped off.
That's all right. I'm wrapping it up.
Oh, okay.
Want to give a quick summary? 60 seconds.
Yeah. Actually, I do, because once again, I think we're real close. So I'm gonna go a little bit out on the limb and just say thanks to everyone who has thanked me. And if I offended you in any way, I take it back. This has been a great ride. I am so looking forward to the future. And we will all be able to communicate after this. There are certain things we won't be able to talk about, but there's a lot that we're going to be able to talk about. And we want to stay in touch, because if there's anybody out there who is trustworthy, it's people who have gone through the same battle. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Wingman. Pretty much that was echoing what I was going to say. You stole my thunder. Way to go. All right. So please go back and listen to the call again. There's a lot of information in here. And tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, there will be a trust call, 1 hour, to answer some more questions. And I'll try to tweet out the link again. But thank you for your participation. I hope that we brought some education along with a few sprinkled choice words from time to time. My apologies about that, but as I've said, I'm very passionate, especially when I think that people are being taken advantage of, and it's kind of like a bully in the schoolyard. I don't put up with that too well, and I get a little upset. So, Lord, thank you for watching over us. And if you would, please reinforce what our ears hear and guide us accordingly. And we ask this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. So that is it for the day. And I want to say one last thing. Goodbye.
The conference is now completed. Goodbye. Welcome to the conference.